In this video I'm going to show you everything you need to know about wireless microphones, more specifically about the Rode Wireless Pro. You see, I've tested the Rode 1, 2, Me. It mixes what's best in all of its brothers and adds on top of it. For me, wireless is freedom, but with it comes some limitations that we're gonna discuss. Yeah, I'm Henry, and in this channel I help with the tech tools to be creative. And everything is organized in chapters, so if you want to skip to a specific feature, just take a look at the timeline below. Now, before, Rode's approach was to include whatever it's necessary just to make it work, and the client could buy whatever accessory they needed. With the Wireless Pro, the approach is... I'll never manage to put this back in. So these look very small, but they're packed with stuff. You're gonna find not only one, but two transmitters. And the receiver has a cable for a camera or a smartphone. It can be USB-C or Lightning. Okay, so now the receiver is connected to the smartphone and I have the transmitter here, which means that I can even go farther away or back and the sound should be just the same. The dogs are barking. The case keeps them charged and makes it easier to manage them when you connect them to a computer using the USB-C cable connected back here. To put it in place, you got plenty of choices. The simple one, just clip it and go. Mag clips are on. If you fancy showing the microphone, magnet in and microphone out. If you're feeling confident, microphone in and magnet out. It's more discreet. But careful with some shirts on the microphone. Two lavalier microphones are included with a safety belt so that it won't fall off. These clips are included to attach to the clothes. And just be sure the microphones are turned outwards and you're good to go. I think I probably chose the windiest day to record this video, so we're gonna know if the wind fur works. And it also comes with the thickest USB-C cable I have ever seen in my life. So basically you can have two people talking plus a third one if you attach a headset to the receiver, in case your camera accepts input from USB-C, because in this case you're gonna be using the 3.5mm jack for the headset. The moment you pull it off the case, it's already recording. The moment you put it back, it's charging. On the receiver you can see the battery levels for all of the transmitters and the receiver, the audio signal and the recording state. These two buttons will help you navigate in the menus. And this extra button can mark a flag in the recordings or start and stop depending on what you choose in the settings. And all these settings you can prepare beforehand by connecting the case to a computer and using the Rode Central software. And if you're on the go, you can simply use the buttons for a quick access or connect with a smartphone and the Rode Central app to be able to change anything really quickly. Now, beside the battery levels, there's one of the most important settings you need to get right before starting recording, and it's the merge or split option. This is such an important topic that I did a dedicated video about it that you can watch over here by clicking in this card. But basically what it means is that split is going to record each audio transmitter in a different channel, meaning left or right. And then you're going to be able to treat each of them separately if people have different voices, different volumes. The M stands for merged, meaning that both audios are going to be combined into the same audio. Now, you're not going to be able to treat them separately, but you have a ready audio to be shared. Now, the transmitter doesn't have a screen, but the LEDs are going to tell you what you need to know, basically if it's connected to the receiver and if it's recording. And recording here means recording internally, because they have over 40 hours of recording time inside each one of these. So now where is your audio going to be then? It's going to be in two different places, in here and in your camera. And this is why being a wireless microphone is the strength but also the weak point of this system. With the technology in play here, it's very unlikely you're gonna have a cutoff in the audio because of the wireless part, but it can happen. Due to many different reasons, audio transmission could be broken and this would result in a cut-off audio in your camera, but does it mean it's lost? Not at all. Because you can still retrieve the same audio from one of these guys and combine it with your video file in your editing software. Of course, in this case, you're gonna have some extra work, an extra step to get this recording synchronized with the video file and replace the bit that was lost. But editing softwares nowadays do that fairly easily. And it is going to start recording immediately when you pull it off the box or when you press record. The microphone is up here, but if you plug a lavalier, it's going to use that. The recording button on top is going to start or stop recording, or if you set it for always recording, it's going to start a new file. And the O button can set a marker or mute it if you set it like that. Okay, so as we've done many times in the past in videos for this channel, I'm gonna do a range test in which I will basically walk away from the camera and come back and we're gonna see how far can I go. Okay, so let's see. Let's make this test and see how far can I go. I'm passing here So, how was it? And actually, in the first couple of tests, turned away from the camera, the performance was very similar to the previous ones. But when turned to the camera, it was very good. Okay, so this is just a test to see if the wireless microphone is going to work from far away. So, how was it this time? The battery should last around 7 hours and the case can charge it twice, meaning around 21 hours of recording. But just bear in mind that they're gonna take a while to recharge, so don't wait until the end to put them to charge. Whenever you have a break, just plug them in so that you can use it the whole day. Now there are two features in the system that makes it almost fail-proof. The first one is the 32-bit float recording. And this is kind of like shooting log with your camera. It just means that you're gonna be able to capture a wider range of sound in this case that doesn't get cut off at the point in which you would with a normal recording. So if you have a very low sound, you could amplify it. And if you have a very loud one that is clipping, you can still recover it. Now to use it, you're gonna need to get the files from the transmitters themselves, and you can export them as 32-bit float and just deal with it inside your editing software, or inside the Rode Central software, you can already export it in a 24-bit normalized audio ready to use. So this is perfect, especially in the cases where you have two very different people recording simultaneously, like for example on a wedding in which you have the priest talking very loud and the groom talking very low, and you can't adjust the volume separately. You'll be able to do it in post. Or if you have people in an environment that you can't really control, like someone in a stadium, for example, in which it can be just normal levels until suddenly, like this, no clipping. Now for me, one of the best features of this set was the gain assist. And this was introduced when the Wireless Me came out, which is something that basically tries to level your audio throughout your recording. And it was a huge problem in the Go 2. You couldn't set the volumes apart, so you had to set it for the person with the loudest voice, meaning that the other could be way too low. But Gain Assist does it for you, meaning that basically it doesn't matter what to do with the volumes, when you throw it in post-production, you're gonna see the waveform just perfect like this. And there are basically two settings that you can choose from, automatic and dynamic. Rode actually recommends to use automatic, which should be good for most occasions. But so far in my test, I really preferred dynamic. It just made it sound a little bit more natural. But listen for yourself. This is how it sounds when Gain Assist is set to dynamic, which is my preferred way of using it. And this is how it sounds when Gain Assist is set to auto, which is not my preferred way, but still sounds really good. So which one do you prefer? I feel like we need to see a little bit of the backstage of configuring these guys here on the Rode Central app. So let's do that right now. And this is the only moment in this video in which you're not listening to the Rode Wireless Pro, because I have them all here. I'm gonna show you how they look inside the case and in the software. So right now you have the Rode VideoMic Pro just out of frame here. On the computer here. Now just gonna launch the Rode Central app. And in here on the left you can already see the case itself and the firmware that it's currently there, and also the RX, the receiver, and the two transmitters. By clicking on each of them, you're gonna be able to see the settings in the case of the receiver. And when you click in one of the transmitters, the first thing you see is the page for you to export the audio and to check the audio that you've recorded. If you wanna see the settings, you have to come to the gear icon just here, and then you get a similar page to the one you have in the receiver. So basically you're gonna have in the receiver page an indication of the battery, which routing you're using, if it's split, merged, or safety channel. The game mode can be manual if you're gonna be setting the levels yourself, a preset that even includes some of the cameras in the market, headphone if you're just listening through the receiver, and a headset if you want also to be able to have an extra microphone connected to the receiver. And in the case of manual, you get the control over here. This here makes the light a little bit dimmer, and the O button can put a marker in the audio or start and stop recording. Plugin Detect is gonna allow you to turn on and off the receiver with the camera. Now checking the transmitter, you're gonna see something very similar with the battery level here, the type of gain assist you want, and it can be dynamic, off, or auto. And I'm leaving it on dynamic, and you're gonna see the test just in a second. The O button can put a marker or mute, which I said is kind of dangerous. The LEDs can be dim or bright, and especially in the case in which you're using the transmitter itself as the microphone, being bright calls a little bit too much attention. Recording can be set to always. The moment you pull it out of the case, it starts recording, or just manual where you have to press a button to do so. There's a high pass filter if you want to use it, and the timeout to save a little bit of battery if you're not using the transmitter in that moment. So let's take a look at how the audio interface works. Here on the left, you're going to be able to see the list of all the audios you've recorded before. So I'm just going to grab any of them here, like this one, 12 minutes audio. And it's going to populate the waveform up here so that you can see what happened throughout this recording. Now here it's already saying that it's 32-bit float, and here you have the export settings. You can choose one of the presets, or you can simply choose 32-bit float and deal with this audio in your editing software. If you want something already perfect to use, and instead of 32-bit float, you could choose 24-bit PCM. Loudness, depending on what application you're exporting this to, like YouTube for example, you could already set here to have the audio perfect for that thing. Otherwise, just leave us off and it's gonna come out great. I'm gonna export this one just for you to see how it works. The lavalier microphones that come in this package are the Rode Lav 2s. And the quality is exceptional, but just don't take my word for granted, just listen for yourself. This is how the lavalier microphone sounds with the wind fur on. This is how it sounds with the lavalier microphone but without the wind fur. This is how it sounds without any lavalier microphone, just directly using the transmitter as the microphone. This is how it sounds with the transmitter with the wind fur on top of it. This is how the microphone sounds with the magnet inside the shirt. To use the lavalier microphones correctly, all you need to do is get one of these alligator clips and connect it to one of them. And on the other end, you gotta pay a little bit attention to this safety ring. So you gotta keep it in place and spin the transmitter until it's safe. I actually managed to lose one of the rings by unspinning one of the transmitters doing this video, and I managed to find it. Amazing. So don't make the same mistake. By the way, I was almost forgetting that there is one extra feature called timecode. And basically this is a way you can keep all your cameras and audio recorders in sync, so that whenever you take these files inside your editing software, like DaVinci Resolve for example, you can simply organize them perfectly on the timeline using this reference. Some cameras like the Blackmagic accept this input of timecode from an external device, but my camera doesn't. So next time. So is it worth it or not? And in short, I would say that yes. I've encountered all sorts of problems doing freelance jobs or creating content. And I guess all of it, what this kit offers, would have saved me. Perfect audio, well balanced, and no mishaps. If you're a professional video maker, freelancer, and you work with clients, there is really no doubt that this package includes everything that you might need. I experienced interference issues during a congress in which the internal recording would have been vital. Recording a loud priest and a low-speaking groom at the same time, not a problem with gain assist. Extreme loud background noise, 32-bit float. One thing that I struggle a little bit with this is when I have to interview a lot of people in a very short time. They're very small and light, but if you only have a normal t-shirt to put them on, it's difficult to find a way in which it doesn't look weird. So a good lavalier microphone saved the day. But if you don't have time to set it up, the magnet is gonna save you. That's the catch. The more you expose yourself to different scenarios, the more you're gonna need the different features it has. And this kit is gonna ensure that you're prepared for anything. Now, if you want to know more about the Rode Wireless Pro, just check the link in the description. And if you have any doubts, don't hesitate in asking in the comment section below. I will answer all of you. And if you want to learn a little bit more about settings that are going to save your day and make your recording perfect, just check out this video over here. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you over there. Ciao!